Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Before I Do, the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do. Whether you are dating, single, in a relationship, don't know if you want to be in a relationship, we are here to facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Absolutely. And this show is meant to be interactive. So we want to know, interact with us. We want to know your thoughts, your ideas, your business, your friend's business, whomever's business you prefer to share. But share it with us tonight. And we have a especially exciting topic tonight.
Absolutely. We have been talking for the past few weeks about epic proposals. And so when it comes to wedding proposals, that can be an integral part of a relationship and dating as it transitions into a marriage. And tonight we have a topic that my beautiful bride has been trying to get us to talk about and alluding to over the past few weeks. And congratulations, it is finally here.
It's here and we've made it. And you made it here with us. So thank you for tuning in tonight. And I know you're ready. Get it ready. I mean, get your comments ready because we have some great data, some information.
Get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn. Get your favorite snack ready. Yes, it's going to be on and popping tonight.
Well, while I'm excited about this topic, yes, it seems like you are very uncomfortable.
I am concerned. I am concerned. I am concerned. Saints pray.
Are we gonna get you? Are you concerned that we're gonna get canceled?
Oh no, I ain't worried about that.
I was gonna say because I don't care.
I'm not worried about getting canceled.
I'm not worried about getting canceled.
I'm worried about the people out there listening, especially some of these couples that's watching this conversation and this discussion taking place. And so, hey, listen, our topic for tonight is our Speak Now question of the night.
The entire night.
Because we do not need another one. Should a woman propose to a man?
Yes, and you're tuned in, and so just be ready to let us know. What's your response to that question, right? We want to start off though with some data. We want to give you guys some information, okay? And so think about that question: should a woman propose to a man? Maybe you're on the line and you propose. Mm-hmm. We want to hear from you. What was your experience? Just researching the history and things like that. And I will just give you a little background. The reason why he's a little scared about this topic is because I know back in the day, some people might have, they might have labeled me a feminist,
No,
and so
you.
And so, in the mindset, of feminists, it's about women, not really being boxed in to, definitely toxic masculinity, not being boxed into these social norms that tell us that, we have to sit around and wait for a guy to choose us. And, we have to just sit in these really subservient positions, right? No, feminist mindset tells you, you have choices and you can choose, so if you want to propose, then propose. If you want to wear a bra today, then wear a bra today. If you don't, that's your business too. If you want to shave your legs or if you don't, that's your right. So that's kind of the feminist mindset, right? So when we have a topic like this, should a woman propose to a man, and it's 2023, how the tables have turned. And so you want to kick us off with just a little bit of some insight that you kind of discovered as we've researched this topic.
Sure, absolutely. So when we talk about this whole idea of women proposing, it isn't necessarily a new phenomenon, but it is one that is starting to gain more popularity, Charmaine, as you mentioned, with this whole idea of women having more opportunities and autonomy of self. And so when we talk about how many women would propose, the question was asked, and this was a survey that was done. And so this particular survey found that 57 women declared that they would be willing to propose. However, 70% of men think that women should propose. So in this survey, men actually felt more than women that women should propose. And so it's a really fascinating statistic in that regard, because most men, if you talk to them, they would share with you that they would feel awkward. Some men say they would feel emasculated by a woman proposing. But this particular survey says that 70% of men actually voted that they would be in favor of a woman proposing to them, as opposed to 57% of women saying that they were proposed to a man. And to your point, Charmaine, I think that when we look at even the institution of autonomy that women are exercising.
Mm-hmm.
The question becomes, in this contemporary movement, right? It's an exercise that we do with our clients, and it's called leave it or take it.
Yes.
And so what things traditionally are we leaving, and then what things are we taking, and why? Because for a lot of people, there seems to be this mindset that everything either goes or everything stays,
Right.
especially when it comes to gender roles and relationships, chivalry, things of that nature. And with chivalry, really what it all lends itself to is being a considerate, decent human being. So this isn't necessarily about me as a man trying to do something to get something from a woman. Is being a decent person, being considerate. And so, but again, for a lot of not just men, but relationships in general, the mindset is, as a woman, if you are exercising more autonomy, what is my role in that? What is my dynamic? And in response to that, what things do I need to withhold some things? Are there some things that I shouldn't do because it projects a subservient role for you? And so there's a bit of confusion or just really ambiguity, or where it's unclear exactly what do we take with us and what do we leave behind.
Yeah, and I think that the same can be said even amongst those who have more so of a feminist viewpoint. There's kind of a divide now because, there's those feminists that say, no, you got the right to choose. If you want to propose, then propose. But if you don't, then you're subscribing to those toxic norms. But I thought me exercising my femininity and my feminism is me choosing. So I can choose to operate in tradition, and I can choose to operate in the modern movement. But I will say that in 2010, only 5% of women would really consider proposing to their man. But as of 2020, so you're talking about 10 years later, now data shows that more than 16% of women are now proposing to their men. And so now things are shifting. And just like Walter mentioned, 70% of men, they're okay with being proposed to. And so things are shifting. And so that tells you that the dynamic and the culture of relationships, it's changing. And as long as it works for the couple, then I think it works.
Yeah.
But you really need to know your partner, like we talked about in previous episodes, knowing your partner. But we do see a trend of unique shifts in culture with these proposals.
Absolutely. So over the past really 13 years, you've seen the doubling of that percentage of women that are actually proposing. And bear in mind that there is a difference between being willing to do something and actually doing it.
This is true.
And so again, with that 57% of women, that translates to actually 16% of women actually proposing to men, but that number is up from 5% 13 years ago of women who actually proposed to men. So it is something that is becoming more and more popular. And so how do we move forward? How do we reconcile this? For those of you that are listening, what are your thoughts about this whole phenomenon about women proposing to men, which again isn't new, and ironically, the most popular day for women to propose is actually Leap Day.
Yes.
So it is a day that actually occurs every other year.
Excuse me. Now, what is Leap Day for those of us who we don't know?
I was just getting ready to share.
Leap Day is. I know. I just had to interject a question.
So Leap Day is an extra day that's added on to the month of February, and so February the 29th, and this happens every other year. And so shout out to my man, Dichotomy. Awesome poet. He's a Leap Day baby. So he has a birthday on Leap Day. But this has become a very popular day for women to actually propose. And it's actually preferred over Valentine's Day. So the largest number of women actually propose on Leap Day. And so 2024, they are estimating that will be the day where the most women in history will be proposing to their potentially significant others.
So will you be one of those women? If you're tuned in today, you're dating, you're thinking about it, not sure, will you be one of those women that choose to take that leap and to get on. I don't know if you're going to choose to do the bended knee or not, but you are going to take that leap of confidence, and you're going to, propose to your man.
Absolutely. You're tuned into Before I Do. Tonight we are talking about, should a woman propose to a man? Once again, please put your answer, put your comments, your questions in the chat, and we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more. All right?
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
All right, welcome back to Before I Do. Our topic tonight is, should a woman propose to a man? And of course, we're talking about heterosexual relationships, because I know some of you all might be out there like, okay, yeah, that's happening more and more. But the data that we're talking about are definitely polls that come from heterosexual couples. And again, should a woman propose to a man? We want you to go ahead and put your comment out there. If you did propose, we want to hear from you. What was your experiences? Was it a positive one? Was it one that, you kind of take a step back and think about? But we want to get right into what some of our research pulled up. And so we want to give you some tips about why you should, or maybe why you shouldn't. So we're not here to judge. We're not even here to encourage you to do so. What we're doing is we want to give you we want to make sure that you are fully informed, so that if you choose to, or if you're thinking about it, hopefully these are some of the things that you'll consider.
But if you choose to judge, we're not here to judge. But if you choose to judge, and if you have a comment, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be messy, but I am trying to make it interesting. So if you do have a comment about this particular topic, I am curious and excited to see. So be sure to light up the chat and let us know what you think.
Okay, so we're going to set the tone. So the first one is, why should a woman propose? Okay, so a lot of the research that we did, it says that, don't get caught up in gender. Don't get caught up in the gender roles, what the expectations are. Again, don't waste time. If you know that you know he is the one, just go ahead and make it happen, okay? Boss up. Go. If you do rings. But if you don't want to, that's fine. Ask the question. All right, open your mouth and make it known that you are my man, okay? I want you. I love you. There is no other, and we are going to be together for the rest of our lives. So what you want to do, okay? So yes, that's just an example.
That sounds like a threat. That don't sound romantic at all. That sounds like an ultimatum. That's a borderline ransom.
I'm just saying, we have so many women bosses out here.
That's right.
So, if you want to be the boss, you got to boss it out. Just say it. Be bold about it. And so, in other words, that's that statement. Don't waste time. Imagine, you don't want to be in a relationship for 10, 15, 20 years, waiting, building up resentment. When is he going to get it? Why is it not clicking? Well, again, guys, some men can be very chill and relaxed. So.
And that is a great point too, because with this particular one, that's part of the reason why this is becoming more of a popular option, because women are tired of waiting on men to pop the question. It's like, why am I waiting for you for something that I want? And so who knows how long I'm going to wait. So, I think that's a really great point that you just made in regard to that.
So that's one reason why you should.
All right. Now, why you shouldn't? Because you may look desperate.
Oh no! Why you had to? Ooh, why
I'm
you went
saying
there?
you may look desperate. So when a woman proposes, it can oftentimes make her look like, again, that she's desperate, that she is anxious for this, and so it can make the man feel that he's under pressure, that now these expectations are upon him about this marriage relationship. Maybe he's not ready, or maybe he doesn't know exactly what he wants the marriage and relationship to look like. And so it's something that you do have to take into consideration of how this is potentially looking to your mate when it comes to proposing to them, especially with something that goes against the cultural norm.
Okay, so you're going against the culture norm. You propose to your man, and one of the reasons why you shouldn't is because you might look
thirsty.
I was going to say your street translation would say, she looking kind of thirsty. But you know what? I will admit that's one of the first points of judgment, that if you do it, then you look thirsty, you look anxious, you look like that you either can't wait or whatever. And I think that's one of those things where, why is it desperate? Is it out of desperation, or is it out of just being assertive? Right?
Well, when we think about desperate, right? Most of the time, that is an individual who does not ideally have a strong sense of self. This is someone that is trying to connect with someone, and their identity is dependent upon someone else. And so it is a red flag and a warning sign. And again, it's not even gender related. This whole idea of us asking someone to come alongside of us and doing certain things, it can make you seem needy. But in this particular sense, absolutely, where it can definitely be misconstrued because of gender, and because a woman is asking a man's hand in marriage. Now she looks desperate, even though they've been dating for 5 years.
Exactly.
Even though, again, that this is something that they may have talked about that they want to do, rather than her waiting for him to ask a question. Her asking him the question makes her look desperate.
Yep, and that's what we do often as society, right? If a woman would ask, "Oh, she's desperate, she's thirsty, she's this," maybe she just knows what she's wanting. Maybe she's confident. Maybe she's being bold or assertive. And so again, those are just some things we want to think about, and how our views and how we judge things, right? All right, here comes another one. Get ready. Why should you propose if you're a woman? All right, we ready? All right, so the next reason we should propose, because possibly, I know a lot of people propose because they're ready to start a family. So you're in a relationship, and you're ready to start a family. And so there's a lot of women who choose to, I want all of my children I want to start this family, and I want all of us to have the same last name. I want us to have this shared sense of culture, shared sense of space. And so let's get married so we can start a family, and to make, to take our relationship to the next level. And so these are just some things that people go into when it comes to this, and if she feels that she's ready to start a family, why sit quiet? Why, be passive in that process, and say, hey, let's get married, let's start a family, let's build our lives together.
This is a really interesting one, because when you think about the family dynamic, right? And if we're going to use stereotypes for this, then women are the ones who are most adept when it comes to family planning. When you think about the making of a home, and if you're going to again use stereotypes and say that, well, men should propose, okay, then who primarily is responsible for organizing and setting up the house and planning for the family? And so again, if you're waiting for a man to have that plan in place for the family, will it really actually happen? Will it be a good plan? And so for women who are in this position, it is something that they most of the time ideally have thought about, again, the whole idea of family, and not just how many children, but where they're going to go to school, and where we're going to live, and you work here and I'll be doing this, and really setting up that division of labor, at least mentally, in a way that makes sense.
And I know in this day and age too, some people may say just wanting to start a family, that's not really a good reason. Like to propose or to ask someone to marry you because you want to start a family with them. you know, because some people are starting, you know, they do it out of that order. So some people, they choose to move in together, they choose to start a family, they choose to really start to connect their lives before they even consider getting married.
Absolutely. All right. So on the flip side of that, we have why you shouldn't get married, why a woman shouldn't propose is because it prevents her from being pursued. And so part of this is this whole inclination is that you are setting an expectation for your marriage when you take the step of proposing to your soon to be husband. And so does that mean that now you are the leader in everything that's done? Does that mean that all of the responsibility and the final word about the relationship falls? Does that mean that now you need to be organizing all of the vacations? Does that mean that I'm the prize and I'm the gift and that you need to be organizing and setting things up for me?
Now
So
my husband is coming for me, y'all.
I'm saying that that's the the nature of this question in this comment is if you're taking the initiative to propose to me, there is this perception that you are saying that you want me to come in alignment with you and your vision for us. And you're going to continue to pursue me and keep me interested because you proposed to me.
Well, I mean, can there be a diplomatic process? Can I propose to you and it be a shared sense of us coming together in a very diplomatic approach in all arenas? I believe that is possible, but I will tell you this, you know, my personal philosophy, because my husband used to get that all the time. I should tell him, look, I'm the prize, you know, because he asked me to marry me. And so for me, it really is a big deal who proposes. To me, that's a sign of leadership. That's a sign of, you know, and so for us, we definitely have a very, very strong sense of no. I was not going to propose to my husband, but that was just my personal choice. You know, to me, that was him showing that leadership. But that's what I saw modeled with my father. You know, I saw my father. He was a great leader in the home, and yeah, I mean, and it just. That was the culture in which I grew up in, and it was amazing seeing his leadership. My brothers are the same way, and so that's what I expect. I expect leadership from my husband in that way. So yeah, to me, I do think it can sometimes it can send a different message, you know. But it really takes a unique couple to really be able. I mean, I know some women who they have taken that leadership role in a relationship, and you know what? And many of them regret it. Many of them feel like, you know, their husbands, they don't do anything. Like they have consistently had to do everything in the relationship because that's how they started. So do you finish how you start?
So part of relationships and especially marriages, right? And not just in and of itself, but like a lot of the things that surround being married and the wedding and the proposal, there's a lot of symbolism, right?
Absolutely.
And so a symbol is something that actually is a sign for a larger meaning, right? So the question then becomes, right? If I am proposing and I'm getting down on one knee and I'm giving you a ring, what is that symbolizing?
What are you proposing?
What am I saying? Like, what am I saying? Right. And what am I communicating?
Right.
Because in all you're getting, we need to get understanding.
Absolutely.
And so things are being communicated, but the question becomes, what are you saying?
Right.
Why are you doing what you're doing? And so being able to ask that why question.
Exactly. It is a proposal for a reason, right? And so I think when we think about tradition, even though again feminist, very modern, you know, viewpoints about this topic will say that, oh no, you just do it because you know you love the person. Okay, but you and I both know it's not just a surface level act of, okay, well, I love you. Well, you love me. Will you marry me? Right. So for us, you know, we operate definitely in the spiritual realm as well as the natural one. So for that reason, we have a higher level of accountability.
Absolutely.
All right. So we ready for the next one?
No, but actually we have a story to tell, right?
Okay, so in researching this topic, I wanted to see how many women actually proposed to their husbands and what were their viewpoints on it. And so there are many women who have stories about them proposing to their husbands, their boyfriends, etc. I mean, in public, at concerts, and all these different environments. And but then there are some stories out there about women who propose to their husbands and they actually regret it. And so one story in particular stood out to me, and it was about a woman, and she did things in the order that we talked about. Like for her, they were in a long-term relationship, they had children together, they bought a house together, and so they had all of these connections together and they never got married. And so at some point, her children were getting older. She wanted all of them to have the same last name, wanted to make their family complete through marriage. And she said all these series of unfortunate events happened. It seemed like planning the wedding, it wasn't a priority. Finding everything else was a priority. The mortgage was a priority. The children were a priority. Everything was a priority. So she didn't feel like a priority. And because of that, they got married. She said one of his friends who had just gotten a divorce and was half drunk, he was the clergy who married them and did the wedding in their living room, children running around and diapers. So she just had a very horrible experience with her marriage because she didn't feel like a priority. And she said the symbolism of this is even today, she says every year she asks her husband to renew their vows and it's not a priority. And so that was her story, but she's just one story. And so there are many successful stories out there. And so I just definitely want, I think it's good to research. And I don't know that they've dug deep into the data to see for the women who have proposed, years into it, where are they now and how do they feel about it?
Absolutely. You're tuned into Before I Do. We're talking about should a woman propose to a man. We're going to take a really quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight we're talking about should a woman propose to a man, and man, it is hot in here tonight. And we actually have a few comments. 2020 Spice Production says it depends on the couple. My fiance did ask me to marry her during the Maxwell concert last year, and our relationship is still going strong. So just as we talked about earlier, and even with the story that we told, that was just one. But again, there are many stories. And just so you all know, the bottom line with all of this is that it depends on the couple and depends on the individual. We are not here to tell you what to do or what not to do. We're just here to facilitate a courageous conversation because it is something that goes against cultural and societal norms. And it does speak to those people that may be caught up in gender roles and things of that nature. So it is a very important topic.
And it goes against those norms now because what does the data show? The norms are shifting, right?
Yes.
So the norm eventually will be that it doesn't matter who proposes, right? As long as the couple is healthy and as long as they have a common language and a common understanding.
Absolutely. My brother Ali says, yes, either should propose. If you want something, you go and get it. So whether you're the man or the woman, if you want to marry somebody, then you set it up and make it happen. And so, that's one frame of thought, not prescribing that traditional mindset that, again, the woman has to wait on the man. If you're a woman and you want to marry the gentleman that you have been dating, then making sure that you propose to him and let him know.
Now, I will ask this question, and I'm a little biased. All of you fathers out there now, come on. Your daughter comes home, 21, grown, all right, in her opinion. She's legal now, right? And she says, Daddy, I'm in love. You met the guy, I brought him, you met him, or whatever. I want to propose. What do you tell your daughter?
I wish I would. I wish I would.
I know this one over here.
I'm sorry, internet. I'm sorry. but because of my belief, because of my faith, again, because of what marriage and what a proposal symbolizes, I am traditional in that regard. For me, that's why I say because of my faith, because of what I believe, I am traditional in that regard. I do believe that, again, and that's a whole different show as it relates to why a man even proposes to a woman. It's about covering. It is about protecting, but it's also about coming under the shared mission of support, and you all building a culture together. And it is about leadership. And so absolutely, I would definitely want to have a long conversation with her about, again, what she is communicating and offering to propose to him.
All right. And so I was just curious because I'm a daddy's girl, and I can see my daddy looking at me all kind of like, what?
If that joker want to marry you, then let him ask.
My daddy would have went off on me like, what? You will not? Yeah.
All right. So listen, so again, we're talking about reasons why you should and reasons why you shouldn't. And so one of the reasons why you should is because it allows you to act on true love. When people love each other, they get married. And so, but it is optional. It is not compulsory. So you shouldn't be pressured into doing this. And so it allows you that if you feel that this is your soulmate, this is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, not allowing yourself to wait for them to make the first move, but it actually does allow you to operate in a way that shows that, no, we are partners in this. Absolutely. And so I love you enough to say that I want to spend the rest of my life with you, regardless of whether the gender and what society says. And so it allows you to be able to act on true love with your full heart without succumbing to what society may say needs to be appropriate.
All right. Now, one reason why people feel like women shouldn't propose. All right. So we're going to go ahead and share this next one. People feel like women shouldn't propose, and some of the research that's put out there is because there's a fear that she won't have a say in the relationship. So there's a fear that her voice will now not have as much, that she would kind of lose a sense of that power, not have those opportunities for for those moments for her voice to have value. And so, and that kind of goes back to the story we mentioned earlier where she didn't feel like a priority. And so that is the fear that why you shouldn't is because you want to make sure that, you have a say. And so the way that you combat that is really to have a really courageous conversation with your partner. I mean, obviously you want to propose when you kind of know that your partner is in alignment with wanting to be married as well. So, if that is an issue, you want to make sure that, you constantly are having very transparent conversations with your partner. Yeah.
So this speaks to voice and leadership. And we've seen in, again, traditional times where women have been marginalized and silenced within their households, let alone society. And so what we have now in society is where women have more opportunities, they have more of a voice, they have more of a presence, they have more opportunities for leadership. And so what has happened is that there is now this conflict and this dynamic where it's men against women, and we're fighting for leadership. We're fighting for who's in charge. And the real question should be, who is better suited to lead out what needs to be done?
This is true.
Rather than us fighting for this, I'm in charge and you need to listen to me, or you're in charge and I need to listen to you. No. But it is it's an opportunity for us to discuss what those shared responsibilities look like. Absolutely. So even a statement like this is alluding to the is alluding to the thought that if I am relinquishing control because I am proposing. What I am saying is that I am bowing down to you. I am here to serve you. And so, again, it goes back to that. What are you communicating and making sure that you're clear on that?
Absolutely. Every couple is very unique. And when we're counseling a couple, this is not about indoctrinating them into this box that they're expected to fit in because society says it or whatever. It is about really auditing the authenticity of each individual personality, the culture, again, that they're going to take, take and what they're going to leave, and having them to really build what it is, the foundation of the relationship that they want and or that they desire.
And that actually gets into our next one of why you should, because it allows you to refuse to give away your power and control. So there is this pervasive thought that when you are married, you have to sacrifice the I for the we. And so this whole idea that I have to abandon my individual pursuits, that I have to let go of my dreams, and everything becomes about my role as a wife and as a mother. And those things come secondary to the things that I want to accomplish as a woman. And so with proposing, what this does is that it shows a resilience and a commitment to me maintaining my individuality within this marriage and within this relationship. Now, ideally, you want this to be done in a way that doesn't become a detriment to your relationship, but you also want to make sure that it doesn't that it is something that is cultivated and understood by your spouse. And it is a high point of contention, especially in this day and age, again, with both couples working and professionals in the home, but they also want to have a family and children and a livelihood in that way. Who's going to be responsible for the cooking and the household duties and making sure the children get to the things that they need to get to? Well, I make more money than you, and my job is more important than you, and I gotta work to pay the bills. And so those things can really show and illustrate how our individual pursuits can become a challenge to some of our collective responsibilities.
That's right. That's right. And lastly, a final point on why you shouldn't propose, according to research and different articles, is because the fear is that you won't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
You know, that you won't be taken seriously. But I think, again, serious is as serious does. And I promise you that, well, that wasn't meant to be that deep. But I know I went Forrest Gump on it. So, you know, the fear of not being taken seriously, I think that it really, again, I could see, because you're stepping outside of the box and doing something out of the ordinary, you do have to consider your partner, right? And so there, again, if your partner is that guy who loves you, it should matter. But there are some guys out there that they're just not that comfortable with being proposed to. And with that being said, I mean, there is some data. There's a whole, a bunch of different data that really talks about men who are comfortable with being proposed to and those who are not. And so there are even, information that talks about which states.
Look for your state.
Which state there's about 60% of men who reported that they would be thrilled. Okay. They would be thrilled to have a woman or their girlfriend propose to them. Right. And so in the United States right now, these are the states pretty much of men who answered that, yes, they would love to have it. So the highest peak of men who would love for their girlfriends to propose to them include, all right, here we go, men who live in.
So these are the states where the men are not willing to be proposed to.
Got it. Okay, but I also have the statistics of men who want them to be, right? And so it says pretty much the states with the most men willing to be proposed to was Washington, all right? And they were at Washington, D.C. at 80%, all right, of the men who live there.
Washington State,
thank you. Washington, the men in Nebraska were at 78%, Wyoming, 74%, Connecticut, 74%, Oregon, 70%, Hawaii, 71%, and Ohio at 70%. Now, and then you have other, states as well of men who definitely are not wanting to be proposed to. And so again, we have a lot of different survey out there that is telling us that social norms are changing and things are different.
You know what's interesting about this, Charmaine, is this whole idea of if you propose to a man, you won't be taken seriously.
Mhm.
But if you're waiting around for a man to propose to you, will you be taken seriously? If you're willing to stay in a relationship waiting for somebody to propose to you and acquiescing to these social and cultural and gender norms, will you really be taken seriously then? So again, the knife kind of cuts both ways, where if I'm proposing, well, then I may not be taken seriously because I look desperate, because I'm willing to be forthright and say what it is that I want and make it happen. But then on the flip side of that, I may not be taken seriously because I'm waiting around for somebody to propose, for this person to propose to me.
There's definitely some interesting things we want to leave you with too about the same data, right? This one talks about, do you think that if your girlfriend did propose to you, so of those 70 men who would love for their girlfriend to propose to them, right? Would you want her to get down on one knee?
Oh, no, you got to do everything I do. You got ain't no changing the rule now. No, you got to do everything I do now.
Well, according to this data, it says 26% of those men, it says, they think a little bit differently. Some said, absolutely, I want to be courted. So 22% say, I want to be courted, meaning I want to be dated. I want to be treated just like, women want to be treated. And then 26% of those men say, no, I would rather that she didn't. Like, don't get out down on the knee and do all of that. That's uncomfortable. And then we have another percentage of men that says, no, that would absolutely make it uncomfortable. 50% of those men who took this survey out of 3,000 men said that, no, don't do that. That's weird. Okay. And then our final data point for the night was, this is one I thought was a bit interesting to me. So if your girlfriend proposed, how would you want her to do it? In a public place or a private? Oh my goodness. So
95% say don't do this. Don't do it in front of everybody.
So that really intrigued me. If 70% of men want their girlfriends to propose to them, but you don't want it done in public. What is that about? I'm just saying. I just have to call you out.
But that's a great point, because what that means is that we want to be pursued and we want to feel good, but we also have in our minds how we're going to look to society and those norms. So it's like, do you really want it then? It's like, which one is really the priority? Because it's like I want. So the communication there is, I want to be made to feel special, like a bride would feel when she's being proposed to. It's like, man, I want that feeling, but at the same time too, I'm afraid of the backlash and how I may look to other people if it's being done in public.
So perhaps there is a stigma that men, maybe that they are.
Tell the truth, fellas. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, fellas.
Went Caribbean on them.
Tell the truth.
Yes. So, again, so all of this data and this topic is very interesting to me, because again, all of those men, I would love to be proposed to, but not in public. So what does that say? So we definitely thank you, family and friends, for tuning in to this episode of Epic Proposal. Should a woman propose to a man? We've given you several reasons why she should, or several reasons why she shouldn't. Either way, it's up to you. If you are contemplating this, or if you are dating and you were like, oh my gosh, I would absolutely not want my girlfriend to propose to me. You guys probably want to have a conversation. Call us, book us for a session.
Yes.
We will love to help to facilitate a courageous conversation and to make sure that you both are building the kind of relationship that you desire and want on a solid foundation. So my name is Charmaine Jennings.
My name is Walter Jennings. Like, share, and subscribe to us at couplesacademy.org, and tune in next week for You Know What It Is. Speak Now Q&A. We are here to answer your questions about dating and relationships. In the meantime, you guys have a great one. We'll see y'all soon. Peace, everybody.